you manifesting a specific person, aka SP? Are you having a hard time? Are you trying to figure out what the stories are? Are you trying to figure out a good process to manifest that person? Well, let me help you, hopefully. Hi, my name is Babs. I'm a manifesting coach. My channel is called Manifest with Babs. I also have a Facebook group called Manifest with Babs. Please join, it is for free. And I also have a TikTok. It's also called Manifest with Babs. Very easy. So let's start. Are you manifesting a specific person? That's what SP stands for, right? So most of us get into deliberate manifesting because of a specific person. And I learned a 4-step process from my former coach, and it is pretty much foolproof. You just have to stick with it. So the 4 steps are focus work. And I don't mean anything looping. So I never teach for manifesting, I never teach to loop affirmations. I never teach to loop scripting. I never teach to loop visualization or any other way of focus work. Focus work is anything you do to get into the feeling of having it. And really what I teach is getting into the feeling of having it. So step 1 is mostly about getting into the feeling of it. And then I like to add some natural affirmations that make me feel good and something that I would use on an everyday basis. Word sentence structures that are natural to me, that feel good, that get me into the feeling, right? So words and thoughts create emotions. So you want to create something that gets you into the emotion of the end result, that you already have it. That's the most important part, is you already have it. You want to get into the feeling of already having it. That's step 1, focus work. Step 2, not every coach does this one. I learned this way and I like it. Do you believe it's possible? Step 3, and then see what all the buts are that come up. I believe it's possible, but blah, 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 all the doubts and negative thoughts that come up. And then step 4 is detaching. I want it, I don't need it, because you don't need it. As a survival mechanism, you don't need it. You need food, hopefully a roof over your head, and water, and probably some sleep at least. But I want to talk about step 3, where all the doubts and negative stories come up. So here's an example of a manifesting process of an SP that someone worked through, right? Okay, get into the end result feeling. Oh my God, we're together. We're so happy. We're in an actual relationship. I manifested this. This is amazing. I love that we're together. We're actually together. So I'm using natural affirmations, something that I would say to my friend if I told her that it already happened, right? And that gets me to the feeling of the end result. You want, obviously, positive emotions. If in this step negative emotions come up, it's because of resistance or attachment. That's usually what the problem is. So stick with step 1, make it through it, force yourself to step through it, and then list what you feel and how it feels. Do I believe it's possible that we could be together? Yeah, I do. I believe everything is possible. So step 3, I believe it's possible, but, and then the but came up is, I don't think it's ever going to happen. And then I ask again, do I believe it's possible? Yeah, but I don't think it's going to happen. So in step 3, if the same answer keeps coming up, even if it comes up in different versions, you want to write step 3 down. You want to write all the things down that come up in the buts, and then evaluate how you feel about them. So we are going to dig. I don't think it's going to happen. Okay, why? I don't think it's going to happen because, or why do I think it's not going to happen? I don't think it's going to happen because the person isn't ready. They don't want me. Here, let's start with this one. I don't think it's going to happen because they don't want me. Ouch. Okay, why don't they want me? I don't think they want me because they're not ready. Okay, ouch. Why aren't they ready? They're not ready because they're not done with the work. They're not healed, whatever, right? Whatever comes up. So I keep asking why until nothing comes up anymore, or the same answer keeps coming up, right? This is how step 3 works. And then this was the last one where it came up with not done with the work, not done with the work. Okay, what the hell? Well, not done with the work. So I go back to the first one. I start accepting all of them. I accept that I don't think it's going to happen. And then I accept how I feel about it. I accept that I feel really upset about it. It makes me really sad. If you ever feel angry and that comes up, I want you to analyze why you feel angry. Anger is usually a secondary emotion. So you want to make sure you pick apart the anger. Why are you angry? I accept that I'm hurt. I accept that I'm frustrated. That's usually what causes anger, is hurt, frustration, or disappointment, right? So I accept that I feel such and such. I accept that I don't think it's going to happen. Next one. I accept that I don't think the person wants to be with me. I accept that I don't think they don't want me. Blah. Again, I accept that. I accept how I feel about it. I accept that I feel blah, 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 blah. Next one. I accept that I don't think they're ready, or they're ready to be with me, ready to be in a committed relationship, whatever the answer was, right? That feels like shit. I accept that it makes me feel like shit. I accept that it makes me feel super upset, blah, blah, blah. Feel it and let it out and really accept it. That's all emotions want. They want to be acknowledged. They're like little children tugging on a jacket of the parent saying, hey, 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 mom, 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 dad, 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 dad. So emotions just want to be acknowledged usually. Next one. I accept that I don't think they're done with the work. Blah. I accept how it makes me feel, blah, 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 and so on, right? So then usually I say, go turn them around now that you've accepted them. And you have to accept them until you feel nothing anymore, right? Acceptance is done when you feel nothing around that sentence anymore. I accept that. It could happen was the first one. Second was, what if they do want me? You could say, what if? And the what if eventually actually falls away because you become more confident. It's like, of course they want me. Then next story is, they're not ready. What if they are ready? They are ready. They could be ready. Next story is, they're not done with the work. What if they are done with the work? What if they don't need to be done with the work? And here in step 3, when it's about another person, this is specific to SP work. When it's another person involved, I want you to look at these answers and really be very honest with yourself and see how you feel about it. Am I ready? Am I done with the work? Am I the one that doesn't want them? Be very honest with yourself, because most of the time when the stories come up that they don't want you and they're not ready, it's because you're not ready and you don't want them. When we don't feel ready, we don't really want them. Or especially with core belief work, a lot of people want to be done with the core belief work before they even let the person back in. That is attachment. I need to be done with the core beliefs in order to let the person in to get what I want, blah, 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 blah. You don't. You just think you do because in the past all the shit came up, right? You don't. So it could be attachment that you need to have your shit done, have your shit together, you need to be done with the work, etc., right? I accept that I think I need to be done. I accept that I need to be done with the work. I accept that I need to have my shit together. You don't. And then you turn around. I don't have to have my shit together. I could be a total mess and could get everything I want. So the bottom story was the getting, if you were to write it out, which I want you to do in step 3, right? So the bottom story that caused all the upper stories. So the bottom story is they don't have their shit together. They are not done with the work, right? So it caused they're not ready, they don't want you, and it's never going to happen kind of thing, right? So the main story caused all these other things. And the main story in this case, in this situation, was actually, and I'm bringing this up because a lot of people that have worked with me and have changed their core beliefs, they have this story in place that they need to be done with the core beliefs. They need to be done with the work before they let their person in. And that is just something your mind made up. So you turn around, I don't need to have my shit together. I don't need to be done with the work. And then the other stories should fall away. But when it comes up in step 3 about the other person, this is my whole point, that something about them, you have a story that is specifically to them. They're not, for example, if the story was, this was another example. In step 3, another but that came up was, I'm not the love of their life. I'm not the right match. I'm not the right person. So you accept all of those and then accept all the emotions and turn them around. And then you ask yourself, do I think they are my love of my life? And in this particular case, it came up that the client knew from day one that this person was the one, but they were really scared And the subconscious is the one that knows this is the person, right? The conscious level could have so many negative thoughts and doubts that then created the story that they're not the love of their life. And it's just a doubtful thought. It's just a fearful thought. It's a negative thought. And that's okay, because we can turn these around. We find these in step 3 and turn them around. So that's what I want you to realize is a lot of times when we manifest an SP, we project our own stories onto them and they become their stories. So we think that we are not the love of their life, when in reality, I'm scared that they are not the love of my life, even though I knew from the day one that they are the love of my life. But knowing and believing are two very separate things. So if you know one thing, but you believe otherwise, the believing is the conscious part. So you have to align the conscious, so subconscious and conscious part can be off. And that's when you don't get the manifestations. That's when you're not in alignment, when the subconscious and the conscious mind are on separate levels. So that's what we're doing by working through these stories and detaching as well, is aligning with the subconscious. The subconscious says, this person is the love of my life, and they think I'm the love of their life. So we have to adjust the stories to, I think they're the love of my life. They think I'm the love of my life, right? That's how this works. And I always do this like a leveling thing, but I like it because it's a visual thing. I'm a visual person. I like this. Anyway, so a lot of times we have projected our own stories onto our SP. If it's a story such as, I don't think they're going to text me, that is not necessarily your own story, because you would text them in an instant, but you're trying very hard not to, right? Because you've heard that it's really good to hold back, which I believe, hey, I want the manifestation to come to me. I don't want to chase it anymore, because as long as I'm chasing it, I still have enough attachment and resistance that it might keep running from me. That's the one thing I've learned. As long as I'm chasing something, it keeps running from me. So, blah, I don't want to run anymore. I want to let it come to me. So, when it's a simple story such as, oh, I don't think they're going to text me, and blah, 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 then it's most likely just a story about them that you have in place. But when it's something like they don't want you, they're not ready, they're not done with the work, you're not the love of the life, something that involves something bigger and more meaningful, then it's probably a story that's about you. You're not ready. You don't want them because you don't feel ready. You're not done with the work. Do you need to be done with the work? They are the love of your life because you've known that since day one, but your conscious mind could have a different opinion because it then came up in the beginning with the doubt. It's like, oh my God, what if they're not the right person? And then it just got stuck in there, right? So that's how we clear it out. And that's what I wanted to bring up, is that a lot of times we project our own stories onto our SP. And I really hope this video helped you today. Have a wonderful day, and always feel free to share anything you want, almost anything you want, on my videos. If you do have questions, please book a session. It is often very hard for me to respond to something because I need to do the 4 steps with you and see what the background is and check what you've done and haven't done, right? So a lot of the questions that you ask on my channel, I can't answer just because it takes a lot more work to work through than a second of looking at it. It's like, I know exactly what your problem is. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.